Hot FM 1067, playing today's best songs.
And that was Burn That Candle, Phil Haley and the Comments. And we've got Phil Haley in the studio today. Phil, welcome to MILDURA.
Thank you very much, Max. It's nice to be here.
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit warm. I don't know what's it been like. Where have you come from?
We sort of like nearly came direct from Berlin. You know, we had a day sort of like to get back from Germany, and then we come straight out here then. And it was quite warm there, you know, in the 30s there. So.
Well, it's still winter here, but this is a winter's day in Mildura, so it's
Beautiful. It was cold last night, though.
Oh yes, it gets cold. We don't have the cloud cover at night, so we lose any of the heat we have during the day, and then it warms up. It's nice. And tomorrow's going to be even warmer. It's going to be a nice day.
Oh, it's all right, great.
Well, let's talk about Phil Haley and the Comments. Now, I know that I think they've been going. Reading on the internet now, I'll check a couple of facts with you. I think about 1997 you kicked off with this band, was it?
Yeah, it's about 14 years, yeah, that put the concept together. Yeah, it's about 4 years.
Now, you've been tied up with music a long time before that, though.
Oh, so, yeah, I started early 60s back in the UK, you know, like everybody, you know, we brought up with the Shadows, and one of my favourite UK bands were the Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. I used to like that kind of approach as well.
When you talk about the early 60s, it was, you know, just about the Beatles' time, you know, there was a whole heap of, especially female artists that sort of came. I was reading, there's a fascinating collection just put out about Sandy Shaw.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, she did some great records. Yeah.
And the thing that I didn't even realise is that her career peaked when she was only 17 to 21. All the songs were out in those days.
Yeah.
And it would have been really amazing to have, you know, come along, just be one day a schoolgirl, and next minute you're on top of the pops, and you're for 4 years at the top, and then after that, it's very hard to keep that momentum, isn't it?
Well, true. Cilla Black was sort, you know, she was another big one and what have you, you know. But I can remember, you know, before that, people like Kathy Kirby, and you know, and that type of thing. So a lot of, you know, just a lot of great times.
And did you get to ever play with any of the bands that recorded in those days?
Most of the 60s bands, you know, some of them have still got the original members and what have you, you know, so we worked with most of them. And I had one or two sort of like, I used to work in an Elvis show, but one of the nice high points about that, we did a festival, an Elvis festival in the UK, and they fetched DJ Fontana over from America, you know, for the weekend and what have you. So he got up and did a set with us as well. So, you know, there's just little things that happen.
Well, how did it happen that you decided to be kind of I don't know whether it's, I don't know how to describe you, whether you're a Bill Haley lookalike or you're a tribute band to Bill Haley and his Comments?
Well, I suppose it's both, really, you know. I suppose if you do a tribute show, it's good to sort of like look a little bit like him, you know. So, you know.
Now, the internet says that there are 3 Bill Haley tribute bands in the world. I just want to know whether, you know, that's basically right. I think the internet says that there's 2 in America, 1 in England, which is...
Yeah, they're probably right, yeah. One of Bill Haley's drummers as well, I think, Bang Bang Lane or something. He had the original Comets name and what have you. No, I just like, I like Bill Haley music, but I also like that stage show and that presence as well, you know. I like the entertainment side of it.
I was going to ask you, when you first formed Phil Haley and the Comments, and you went around trying to get some bookings and that, did people really take you seriously?
No, it's sort of like, it's taken a few years for people to come around and what have you. Initially I got in touch with Jack Haley, Bill's son, and at the time they'd just done the Sound and Glory biography of his dad, sort of thing, and he helped me quite a lot. He sent a lot of early video over and gave us quite a lot of info and what have you, know, which we found really useful.
Now, we're going to play another track in just a moment. We're going to play a few tracks. I think this is I think the release we've been playing on the air is from about 2001, would it be 2001, 2003 or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
Now, when you decided to do Phil Haley and the Comets, did you? There's a story going around that people say, "Oh, you look like Bill Haley." Did that sort of start it off, or did you?
Well, it did really, but I still like Bill Haley, you know, as such and what have you. So, and it was just something I had to try. So most people just laughed, and you know, but here we are, sort of thing.
Now, well, how did you had the idea? How did you go about getting a band? You know, the Comets. You know, you had to find a double bass player, and you had to find a drummer.
It was difficult. I just advertised, and the first guy that sort of like answered the advertisement was Alan Paris, my saxophone player, and Alan's been with me, so you know, from year one. And then there were a couple of bass players and what have you, and then eventually Martin Savage joined me, and Martin's been with me, what, 11, 12 years. And Brian, the drummer, is his second stint and what have you, but Brian's done 8, 9 years with me. So, you know, I like to keep it as a family sort of thing.
And you also had to get some people that had a bit of showmanship, because with the Comets...
well, that was it, you know, that's the second bit, you know, so...
like you had to get someone to play the saxophone like the Comets did, and you had to get somebody that was, you know, had all these antics with the double bass, didn't you?
They're all crazy, so that's it. You know, job done.
And the other thing, and the most important thing, to get the sound, you needed a... correct me if I'm wrong, you needed a drummer who could play that backbeat and have a little bit of that western swing kind of feel.
Yeah, it is the snare technique and what have you. The double bass player, you know, he is the percussion sort of thing. You know, he drives the band, but the snare is king.
Now you've had a couple of things on YouTube. I found them quite interesting.
Right. There is quite a few things. Some not so good as well, but no, there's quite a few things about and what have you now. So yeah, whatever.
How many years have you been coming to Australia now? For did Winter Sun first bring you out? Was that the reason you first came to Australia?
It was when, as I was saying earlier, we met Jamie Supper in Munich, and I can't remember the name. It was an Australian band that he was actually over there with us as well, and we did the Klaus Kettner festival. Jamie liked the show and what have you. He says, "Would you like to come to Australia?" And I said, "Well, yeah, okay, fine." As usual, you know, you get offers all the time, but very, very few sort of like come through. But Jamie came through. This is 5, 6 times we've been over here.
Now, with the Winter Sun Festival, what's been the response?
Always good, you know. We always find people friendly and what
Now,
have you.
before you came to Mildura, did you know anything about this place? Did you read up about it, or did
No, none whatsoever. Brian, the drummer, sort of like told me about it, where it was and what have you. So that was it.
So he sort of gave you a bit of a geographic
he gave us an outline of what have you. So yes.
Well, it's a nice place. I think we're the 34th biggest city in Australia, and you've got to put that in perspective. You know, we've actually just increased in recent years from being number 48 up to 34. So we're what we call a growing area. And I hope he told you that we're right on the edge of the outback. You only have to go out of town, a few k's or a couple of miles,
and you're there.
Well, you're in the outback, yeah. Hey, listen, if you go north from here, it's only a couple of 100 miles till you get to the next town.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to go in a straight line, and there's no towns in a straight line, you've got about 2,000 miles to get to the top of Australia. But
it's just a continent, isn't it? It's a big place.
There's just no road.
Yeah.
We're going to play another track from Phil Haley and the Comets.